Today, I've been given to the keys to one of the most iconic 911s ever built, the 1992 911 Carrera RS. What makes this such an icon in 911 history? Well, it was a car that was built for racing, truly. It's not a marketing line. This car was built by Weissach to be a racing car, but the street version. So what did Weissach do? Well, first of all, this car was never made for the United States, never sold in the United States. And there's a couple of reasons why. It had the bumper bars inside to lead it. It had aluminum hood, very lightweight. Magnesium wheels, super light, and now virtually unobtainium. The doors, while steel, didn't have the bars on it for extra protections that's required by the US. Had lighter glass, which is required by the US is a heavier glass. Aluminum deck lid on it, no rear bumper reinforcement. Inside the engine, it was pure business. It looks like a regular 964, but we have a single pulley and no air conditioning. There was no really creature comforts for this car. Even though there's lightweight carpeting inside, it was a car mainly just set up for racing that was still made for the street. No airbags, fixed racing seats, the front trunk area, but you can see very little carpeting on it. It actually used a C4 chassis because the C4 braking was superior to the C2. Had the Bilstein race suspension. They even took out the shocks and used this little bar, aluminum bar, instead of having hood shocks, all in the name of saving weight. Now, even though they were looking to save weight, they kept the electric lift because that was critical to reducing lift in the rear. So let's live a dream and take a ride in the Carrera RS.
Be sure to log into your YouTube account, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Best of all, it's free to do so.
Alright, so see the traffic is clear here. And away we go. So, this has a much more refined suspension, stiffer Bilstein suspension than normally found on a Carrera 2 or even an RS America. I can immediately feel the lightweight. This was about, I think, 300 pounds lighter than a Carrera 2, which is a lot of weight to find. Definitely a lot bouncier than the regular Carrera 2 that we're used to in the States. The owner said the car really comes alive at about 4,500. Wow, this thing really feels lightweight and pulls. It has a manual steering rack, so you can feel everything on the road, and it's very responsive. Even though it has wider tires in the front than you find on the regular C2, it doesn't feel heavy at all. Actually, much lighter than the RS America felt. Speedometers in kilometers. Got a little scared there, so 100. I think I was doing 100 miles an hour, so it's 100 kilometers. It means it's hard to tell what a mile is, but I think I'm getting close to it. And this has so much power, over 3,000 RPM. But the brakes are from a 928 GTS, which means basically like a 911 turbo brakes. Another thing you didn't find in the C2, regular C964 C2. This is much more firm than the regular 964 C2. I've driven a 1990 Cup car, and I gotta say this is very close in feeling. It feels just a little bit heavier than the Cup car. I'd have to look up the stats to see how much lighter the Cup car was. The Cup car didn't have any carpeting at all. It was bare metal. This has very thin RS type carpeting. Now, they made a touring version of this that had a lot more creature comforts, electric windows, air conditioning. I think they put power steering, but the regular RS, it was homogenization, and it was pure race car. Once again, once you get going, you don't need any power steering. This is actually very responsive and lightweight. It's definitely reminds me of that Cup car I drove. Porsche built a Cup car before they built the RS. So that's why you have, this car was the RS was actually a one-year only car, but listed as a 92. They started building the 911 Cup cars in the 964 body style in 1990. I can already tell you what my road trip feeling on this car is. It is a very, very firm ride. GT3 owners, you might be at home. GTS owners, you might find it a little shocking and jarring. But this is pure Porsche, pure Weissach. This rewarded the person who knew how to drive. It definitely reminded you that the engine is in the rear. If you know how to use it and take advantage, well, you're going to be a very happy person. While the brakes are a little boosted, it certainly does not feel over boosted. It has that perfect amount of pressure, and you have full control, full feeling. It does have ABS, but I think it takes a lot for that ABS to kick in. Unlike modern cars that use a Race Tex or Alcantara, they still use good old leather back then, and I love the feeling of it. I would say this car is set maybe just a tinge of understeer, and for most people they may think it's oversteer. This is a very I would not put this for the faint of heart. I think it's a car that if you're just buying it because you want the RS name, you may be a little unhappy, because this is not a touring car. Let's talk about the ratings. We have the car show rating. This is, I'm gonna say, an 8.5. Unfortunately, it looks like a regular 964 C2, which may not grab a lot of attention at a car show, but for those who know, and this beautiful Rubystone color, which some people may call pink, it's attention grabbing. I can't tell you how many people did quick turnarounds in their heads, did 180s when they saw this car on the highway. So with the combination of the color, the fact that it is a real RS, definite 8.5. It's an RS. That's all that needs to be said. As far as commuting goes, wow, I'm going to give it a really low score, because I could not see myself daily driving this car. It is a handful. I would give it almost like a 4. But you don't buy this car to daily drive. There's other cars that you can daily drive. This is definitely, in my opinion, a 4 for daily driver. It's such a firm suspension, no air conditioning, race seats. It's not a daily driver. Maybe one day a month. A road trip, I hate to say it, it's the same way. My significant other, my wife would not be happy in this car. It is way too firm. I could see yourself getting tired. Although these seats, I've done long trips in these seats, and they actually are very comfortable. And I personally could drive it for a long time, but if I had somebody with me, I think maybe 2 hours max. That would be pushing it in this car, especially without, once again, the nice amenities of air conditioning. Hey, this is an RS. You're not buying it for comfort, for daily driving it. You're driving it to find that road, to do that drive, and to really appreciate what the folks in Weissach did back in 1992.